This is XRP versus Ethereum. So this is an interesting chart here because it looks like a finished crash. It looks like a finished bottom here, right? So basically what we have is a 1, 2, 3. We have a triangle for 4 and then 5. And I like it a lot. And then now we have a mega pump looking for a three-way pullback, maybe flag out in here a little bit and then blast off, and then see ya, Ethereum, leave you in the dust where you belong. Just kidding. Okay, so I really like this chart. I think that XRP has much more potential this cycle than a lot of altcoins, frankly, because when you look at, let's take an altcoin for example, like maybe let's say Matic. Okay, so when we look at Matic, and let's put on XRP too. Okay, you can kind of see both of them side by side. So let me just take off XRP for a minute. Matic, Filecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the altcoins, right? They all basically had a big bull run. And now let's go to like SHIB, or let's go to THETA. Okay, so THETA is a good example too. It had a mega run. XRP did not. Had a mega crash, right? And basically, when I look at what has a bigger probability, I would say XRP. Why? Because XRP already went into its retracement, right? So when I look at XRP, it didn't go into that bull run. It only went into a retracement, which means when it came back down, now it's going into reaccumulation. And then also, when I look at this A, B, C, D, E, I look at this triangle here, right? And it's consolidated for 6.5 years without breaking above its all-time high, which just increases the probability. Also, when I look at the monthly chart, look at this. We have a very bullish monthly hammer candle, right? And I'm not saying the other coins don't either. Like, let's see what ADA looks like right now here. Yeah, it's okay, But when I look at ADA, there's not a big base, right? There's not a big base. It's kind of just like this three-wave shape, right? So when I go back to XRP, you can see how long we were going sideways here, right? And then you can say this whole thing is sideways, right? And sideways is good. When you look at a chart and it's going sideways, that means it's prepping for a big move. Sideways is where you want to get in. Or like if it's going sideways at the top, that's when you want to get in for a short. If it's going sideways and at the bottom, that's when you want to get in for a long position, right? Look at right here. This is the monthly chart. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months sideways right here. Here's your box right here. So that was a very beautiful accumulation phase right there. Okay, so I'm looking at this candle here, and I'm going to get back to XRP versus Ethereum, but look at this massive candle. It is a huge bullish hammer candle, but it's also engulfing, and it got us back to the resistance. Once this candle closed, I said that this candle would most likely come back and retest 50% of this wick, and that's exactly what it did. Maybe a little bit less, but that's okay. That's actually better, right? So what's the following candle going to be? What's the following candle going to look like? Well, look at this here. So here was a bullish hammer candle, right? And then you had this candle here, which came back and retested some of that wick. And then the following candle was a breakout candle. So if I compare this candle here to this one here, and this red one here to this red one here, and the green one that comes next, right? So next month we get a big breakout. That would be, I could see that happening. I could totally see that happening. And we've been flagging out, frankly, for a while. So it's looking pretty good here, right? I mean, you can see the monthly chart, right? I mean, this is one, I think it's 13 months. So over a year, we've been flagging out. So this whole thing, in my opinion, is a bull flag. And you can see it's very, very tight. And every time it gets below, we wick, we wick, we wick. And then we wicked again. And then we came all the way to the top, and then we wicked again. So the buyers are defending it at all cost, right? It's like the last frontier, right? Or the Alamo, like you're defending it at all cost. So I imagine this thing going to break out. But none of that will happen without Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's gotta be in the show. So another thing I like to compare this to is kind of like what's happening now on a smaller scale, right? So I just put a video out, by the way. It's a couple fractals. If you want to check it out, go ahead. And but essentially, right, we're looking at, let me just go to THETA real quick, not because it's THETA, but because it's the structure I'm looking at here, right? Or actually, this is better. So this is THETA, right? You could see what happened back in COVID. We came down, we played around, we hit the low, and then we shot up. So I'm kind of comparing that, right? You can see it come down, it comes back up, it goes sideways, right? It goes sideways, so boom, and then you kind of flag out in here, right? So, same thing kind of like with Bitcoin, right? You come up, you're flagging out a little bit, and then you break out. So when we look at XRP, let me go to the 2-week chart here. You can see something very similar, right? We had that big dump. We shot up in 3 waves. It looks corrective, right? But so did Bitcoin. Came up rather quickly, and then it kind of flags out a little bit. It kind of goes sideways in here, and then eventually it breaks out. So I'm very bullish on crypto, provided that Bitcoin can stay, above that, above its zone, because really this is a big inflection point. So let me go back to Bitcoin here. Okay, I don't like the 2-week chart. It's a little bit wonky, but when we look at the 4-hour chart, it's got a very nice look to it. And you can see what's going on right now compared to what happened before, and we will look at them side by side. You can pretty much see exactly where we are, right? So a little bit more sideways, pop the high, go flag out, and then continue higher. So that's kind of a little summary. So I go back to XRP versus Ethereum. Market's a little bit down today. We talked about that too yesterday. I figured it would be down today. Let's go to the daily. So this also reminds me a lot of like CRV, which I haven't really talked about in a while. Where's CRV at? Here it is. So you can kind of see the same thing, right? How it comes down and then it plays around in here, has a very strong support, and then it crashes the support, right? So I'll go back to XRP, or XRP versus Ethereum. You can see the same thing. It has this big area here. It comes down and then it comes up. So this is either going to test as resistance and come down, or this is going to flag out a little bit and break out, right? So this is a big inflection point for XRP versus Ethereum. We could have one more low. There's always a 7-wave bottoming, type of theory, right? Where you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually 1, 2, 3. All this is for 5. 6 rolls back up to 4 and then comes down 7. You get massive bullish divergence and then it really rips. So either way, I'm very bullish right now. So if I had a lot of Ethereum, not financial advice, which I really don't, I would wait for a pullback and then I would consider trading it for XRP or even THETA, honestly. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say is I really like this chart. So when I look at this move down here, what do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what did we have also? We had divergence here between the 4th and the 5th. And then we came up, but now if you look, we actually have bearish divergence. You can see this is going down and this is going up. So it definitely needs to reset in here. So just be aware of that. A lot of people like to look at XRP versus Bitcoin. I do too, but I think XRP versus Ethereum is a little bit, I would say a little bit more clean. So for XRP versus Bitcoin, I'm totally expecting it to get back up here. Like, I'm very confident that we're going to get back up here. Now, if Bitcoin breaks out in its 4th wave and sells past 80, 90K on its way to 100K, XRP might lag a little bit. It might take a little bit longer, right? But eventually, once Bitcoin stalls out, that's when XRP catches up, and it could be very fast. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, so for Ethereum, we actually came down. We made another low here before going back up. So like if you get rid of this, let me just remove that. If you get rid of this point right here, and I'll just go black, or actually, yeah, there we go. So we just black it out, okay? Pretend that never happened. You can kind of see something similar, right? You can kind of see that with the 5th wave here. So we have kind of like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this little area here kind of messes it up, but there you go. So you have this area here, right? You roll back up, and again, that's kind of what I said with Bitcoin as well. When anytime you break down, don't panic sell. Always wait for it to come back to where it broke down from. So that would be up here, right? That would be way up there. And yeah, so similar to what Bitcoin's doing now, right? So when I go here and I put this on here, you could see we broke down, but then we came all the way back up to where it broke down from. So now it's going to decide up or down, right? So for XRP versus Bitcoin, same thing, right? But we got a lot more further to go. So I'm expecting XRP to go up at least another 50-60% against Bitcoin, which means it's probably going to be a lot more in the in the USD pair, right? So yeah, and then once we get up there, right, maybe do a little roundabout and then fly to the upside. Or this thing can go extremely fast, you know. I mean, every time it's broken out, it goes very fast. You can kind of see it kind of plays around, pops the high, and then bam, just straight up, bam, straight up, straight up, straight up, straight up, straight up, straight up. So, you know, I kind of like this area right here because it illustrates kind of where we are now as far as the whole market. How we come down, we kind of do this little roundabout, and then we shoot to the top, right? So it started off as a 3-wave move. It came down. went sideways in here. So yeah, I'm bullish. I'm very bullish kind of right now on the small time frames. And let's see real quick here. So even on the small time frames, I think this could be maybe like an A, B, C, D, and E, maybe a triangle in here, right? And then we hit the high. So we don't want to break this low. But you can see what I mean, like comparing that to XRP, right? How it kind of shoots up a little bit and then bam, it just takes off. So that's kind of what I want to see here. Now it's not financial advice. I don't know if that's going to play out, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. So now for XRP USD, it's a little bit more challenging to read because this thing went up very, very high and now it's kind of flagging out here a little bit. So I'm imagining, you know, this thing's got to consolidate a little bit here before it continues higher. Whereas something like Matic, right, it's got that little 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It could be some kind of triangle in here, right? Kind of basically correcting through time rather than through price. So a lot of times you shoot up and then you come back down. But if it's really bullish, it likes to stay up here and then go, right? So that's kind of what's happening. So it's actually very good. And you can just see in the last hour, whoa, look at that. Let's see, let's go to the 5 minute. Okay, yeah, so in the last 5 minutes or the last hour or so, we just had a big pump to the upside for Matic back into its little area here, right? So again, this is another lesson, right? So look at this. See all this consolidation? Anytime you have a big range and it dumps or pumps, it always comes back and retests that range area, right? So what's going to happen in here? Are we going to break out or come back down? So this is where the inflection point is, right, on the 5 minute chart. So anyways, just a real kind of a quick update there. Just wanted to kind of show you XRP versus Ethereum, and yeah, it looks pretty good. So as far as the small time frames on XRP versus Ethereum, let's talk about that and then wrap it up real quick. Let me start on the daily first. Okay, so yeah, we had our 5-wave move down. This is my opinion, the bottom. This is the very, very bottom. It could even be like XRP will never go back down there again, or at least break this low. So when I look at the 4-hour chart, I got a 1. And here's another example here, right? Where it kind of, this is like a fractal here. So for example, like what we just talked about in the last video, see how it comes down, right? And then it kind of moves up in 3, and then it moves back down in 3, and then it hits the low, and it kind of goes sideways a little bit. It kind of oscillates, but essentially you come up and you go sideways, up, sideways, breakout, right? So, you know, again, when I compare that to like Ethereum now or any coin that we just looked at in the last video, same kind of thing. We go up in 3, we move back in 3, we kind of go up, maybe oscillate around, go sideways, but then eventually break out. So that's what I'm really, really thinking here, right? So on XRP versus Ethereum, we got a 1, 2. This looks like this could be 3, 4, and 5, or this whole thing could be 3. And then we come up and get 5. So we'll keep an eye on it. But anyway, I just wanted to give that update real quick. Anyways, hit that like button. Appreciate it very much. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.